Hi, my name is Rachel Downs. I am the Senior Director of Strategic Initiatives and Collaborations at Housing Hope. And I'm really grateful to Cynthia Andrews for asking me to come and do this spotlight. I know that Cynthia, with the ACH staff, she has a really deep passion for housing and wants to get housing organizations more integrated into the Collaborative Action Network. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to introduce you to Housing Hope if you're not familiar with who we are. I do have a couple slides. They're pretty basic. I don't know if that's okay. We don't need the slides. So the story of Housing Hope is that we were founded in 1987 right here in Everett. At that time, in the mid-'80s, the only thing available in Snohomish County was gender-segregated emergency shelter. So if you were a family seeking shelter, there was the men's mission, and then there was the women and children's mission. And so if you wanted to keep your family together, you could not do that. So families were choosing to stay in their cars, stay on the streets, and not seek services because they didn't want to be separated. And so a group of local community members came together and founded Housing Hope to solve that problem. And so what started in 1987 with a very small emergency shelter has really blossomed to where today Housing Hope is Snohomish County's largest nonprofit affordable housing developer and provider. We have over 650 apartments at 24 locations, thank you, throughout the county. About half of those units are for families who come directly from homelessness from the Snohomish County's coordinated entry 211 system. And then the other half are for families who are just very low income, below 50% of area median, who simply can't afford market rate rent. And so we provide apartments that are affordable to them. And today our work is centered around homes, jobs, and kids. Of course, I've talked about the foundation of affordable housing. We know that housing is the beginning, but it is only the beginning. If we're really going to address what led to a family experiencing homelessness, generational poverty, other issues that the family may be having, we really need to work with that family once they get into our housing to achieve whatever their goals are. So we have a job training program through our sister nonprofit, HopeWorks Social Enterprises. We operate for-profit businesses that exist to provide job training venues. One of those is Kindred Kitchen down on Broadway if you want a snack. We also have a landscaping company, a retail furniture store, and our child development center, Tomorrow's Hope, is part of that as well for adults who want to get into the early childhood education field. And so we have really rich programming around employment, education for adults, and also for kids, their behavioral health support, because we know that experiencing homelessness and poverty is very traumatic for children, and so we really see it as core to our mission to help them overcome that. Okay, and then, so I wanted to share two stories of collaboration and partnership with you with ACH member organizations. The first is Center for Human Services. So this is an example. I think somebody said earlier today the phrase a failing upward organization or failing forward. Yeah, failing forward. So Center for Human Services really helped us fail forward in our provision of behavioral health care for our children and youth at Tomorrow's Hope. So Tomorrow's Hope is a full-day child care center. We have 135 slots down on Evergreen Way, serving kids from 4 weeks to 12 years. And the target population is, the families that we serve, families who've experienced poverty, homelessness, involvement with the child welfare system, any other kind of adverse childhood experience that you can imagine. And so one of the things we do is universal developmental screening for both, physical, speech, but then also for social emotional delays. And before the pandemic, we were really ramping up this huge program to provide behavioral health care in-house, right at the child care center. We had a staff member who was a licensed clinical social worker, and she had this plan to provide play therapy and parent-child interaction therapy and just really work with these kiddos who had very acute needs to help them recover from their trauma, get them the mental health care that they needed so that they could succeed in school and achieve their milestones. And that worked well for a few years. And then that one staff member who was kind of holding the program together, she got poached away from us by another organization. And we could not hire anyone to fill her position. And we knew that this was such a key need for our kiddos. And it was just, kind of withering on the vine, and we were like panicking, like, what are we gonna do? And so then we got connected with Center for Human Services with this is their bread and butter. They provide very, very deep and rich behavioral health services for children and youth and families. And so today we have a staff member from Center for Human Services who attends our weekly care team meetings at Tomorrow's Hope, where they talk about every single class or every single student in each class. Okay, how is this child doing? Oh, they're starting to exhibit some signs of this, or this child has something going on at home. And so they really are that connective tissue for getting those families connected to mental health and behavioral health services. And it was something that we failed at providing ourselves. And so we are so thankful for the power of partnership there. And then also, Community Health Center of Snohomish County has been a really impactful partner for us over the past few years. About 3 or 4 years ago, a person who now works for Community Health Center but used to work for Verdant Health Commission, I don't know if Seal is still here, she gave me a call and she was like, hey, so why don't you guys have healthcare services in your housing? And I said, what? You can do that? And so she helped us dream of a co-location of healthcare services inside a housing development. And so that picture that you see up there in the upper right corner is Madrona Highlands, which is our newest housing development that opened in October down in Edmonds. And for the very first time, in our 38-year history of being alive as an organization, this facility includes a health screening room where community health center clinicians will come 2 days a week to start out and actually see patients, see our residents, as CHC patients. They don't have to find childcare. They don't have to find transportation. They just walk in and they see a provider. So this is a level of service that obviously we would never have been able to provide by ourselves as just an affordable housing operator. And so we are so grateful to the ACH and to these partner organizations that help us be better and serve our residents and more deeply together. So thank you.